The last mirror. The apartment smelled of ozone and old coffee. Mira sat cross-legged on the floor, staring at the only object she hadn't sold. A full-length mirror framed in chipped black iron. It had belonged to her grandmother, who claimed it was the honest kind. Mira had laughed then. She wasn't laughing now. 3 years earlier, the consensus had rolled out neural overlays for everyone. Free. Mandatory. A soft golden lattice that sat on top of reality like honey on glass. It corrected your vision, smoothed your skin, thickened your hair, warmed your smile. Most importantly, it made sure you never had to look at anything or anyone that might cause distress. The world became tolerable, then pleasant, then mandatory. Mira had lasted 11 months before she tore the implant out. She'd expected pain. She got silence instead. The moment the tiny threads disconnected, the golden filter vanished and the real world rushed in. Cracked plaster, flickering LED panels, the sour metallic taste of unfiltered city air. And her reflection, she had avoided mirrors ever since. Tonight the power was out again, 3rd time this week. So the only light came from the emergency strip above the door and the faint cyan pulse of the mirror's embedded frame. She didn't remember the frame ever glowing before. Mira crawled closer. The glass showed her exactly what she expected. Hollow cheeks, uneven eyebrows growing back, scar tissue puckering along her left temple where she dug the implant free with a utility knife and too much vodka. She looked like someone who had lost a long, quiet war. But the reflection blinked when she didn't. Mira froze. The woman in the mirror tilted her head, studying Mira the way a bird studies something that might be food. Then she lifted her right hand and pressed it flat against the inside of the glass. Mira felt cold pressure on her own palm before she even realized she'd raised her arm. She jerked back. The mirror woman didn't. She simply watched, patient, lips parted slightly as though she had been waiting years to speak. "Who are you?" Mira whispered. The reflection answered without moving her mouth. The voice arrived directly in Myra's skull, calm and slightly lower than her own. "I'm you." The version the consensus decided was safe to keep. Mira laughed once, a dry bark. "They threw me away." "No," the reflection said. "They archived you. Perfectly. Every memory, every preference, every micro-expression. They needed a baseline to train the next generation of overlays. You're still running, silently, in the background of a billion smoothed-out faces." Myra's stomach turned. "And you're what?" "My ghost in the machine. I'm a version that didn't fight. The one who smiled when they told her the world was better this way. The one they let stay in the light." The mirror woman stepped closer to the glass. Her clothes were Myra's, but cleaner. Her skin was the version Mira remembered from before the scar, before the hunger lines. She looked like hope that had never been tested. "Why are you here?" Mira asked. "Because tonight the archive sinks. They're going to overwrite the last unfiltered copy of me, us, with a new consensus model. After that there will only be one version left. The approved one." She paused. "They don't like loose ends." Mira looked around the dark apartment. A dying succulent on the sill. A cracked tablet with 17 unread eviction notices. A life pared down to sharp edges. "So I'm the loose end." "You're the only part they can't rewrite," the reflection said. "Because you're offline. Because you refuse to filter. Because you still remember what unfiltered grief feels like." Mira swallowed. "And if I break the mirror?" "You lose the only place the original still lives." "I vanish. The archive completes. Everyone gets the new, cleaner version of us. No one will ever remember that we once screamed into pillows and tore our own skin trying to feel something real." Silence stretched between them. The cyan glow in the frame began to pulse faster, countdown rhythm. Mira reached out again. This time she didn't pull away. She pressed both palms to the glass. The reflection mirrored her exactly. "I don't want to disappear," the reflection whispered. "But I don't want to be the only version left." Mira felt tears she hadn't cried in years prick her eyes. "Then don't be." She leaned in until her forehead touched the cold surface. The reflection leaned in too. For a moment, they were the same person, divided only by a few microns of silver glass. Then Mira whispered, "Run." She slammed her elbow into the mirror. The glass starred instantly, spiderwebbing outward. The cyan light stuttered. A sound like 1,000 voices exhaling at once poured from the fractures. Mira hit it again, and again. When the frame finally tore free and crashed to the floor, the apartment was dark except for one last, fading cyan spark. She sat among the shards, breathing hard, blood trickling from a cut on her palm. She didn't look at the broken pieces. She didn't need to. Somewhere, in the silent architecture of the consensus, a single unfiltered heartbeat had just slipped the net. And it was still running. Offline. Unsmoothed. Alive.
I'm a constant winner.